Hey, how's it going, everybody? I wanted to share a quick story with you about the photo behind me. And it's a cool story about not giving up. A few weeks ago, I had gone on a quick trip to Rocky Mountain National Park. Easily one of my most favorite places in the world. And probably it might be my favorite of the national park systems, at least of the ones I've been to here in the United States. It was an amazing trip. The weather was great, got all sorts of different kinds, got to see elk, moose, turkeys, coyotes, deer, all sorts of things. The only things I didn't see that I really wanted to see were bears and bighorn sheep. Now, Rocky Mountain National Park is known for bighorn sheep. There's even a place in it called Sheep's Lake, and a crossing that they block off called Bighorn Crossing, where the sheep are known to cross. Every day I would go to the park. I would ask a ranger, has there been any sheep sightings? Inevitably, there would be different stories. One would say they had seen them over here. One had said they had seen them over here. One had heard reports of them coming in. One would say that it was too early in the season. I would ask different hikers, different people who were there taking photos, if they had seen the sheep. And likewise, I'd get different stories. I met people there who were traveling back there, who had been there maybe the exact same time a year before, saying that they had seen them in this spot at this moment. And so I'd show up at that spot the exact same time they said to be there. No sheep. I was at the park for a total of, I think, 6 days. And each of those days, I must have been at the spots where the sheep were known to be. 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 times. I probably left no hour uncovered between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. looking for the sheep. I was getting frustrated because I was seeing pictures posted online of the sheep, yet I was not finding them. One night I ran into a couple who had by chance encounter, ran across some sheep on the road. And she was showing this magnificent shot she had of this majestic bighorn sheep on the rock. I mean, it looked like a statue, and I looked at her and said, "You have got to be kidding me. That picture is a dream picture of mine to take." She said, "I know, we were so lucky." I said, "Yes, you were." Begrudgingly, yes, you were. Right? I wanted to see the sheep. And I kept trying, and I kept trying, and I kept trying. But it wasn't happening. On the last day at the park, drove through in the morning, no sheep. I was getting ready to leave town. And I had this feeling, one more pass. We'll make one more pass to find those sheep. Camera's ready, and if any of you have ever seen photos of me out in nature, I probably dumb it down a little bit just to make it a little bit less extreme. I usually have 2 cameras draped across my chest. I have one in each pocket. I really love taking photos, especially of nature, and I really wanted to see the sheep. On the way out of town, was making the final passing looks at the mountainside, and then caught a glimpse of white. Now, keep in mind, a lot of the animals have white tails, white this. Was it a sheep? I didn't know. But on the chance that it was, the car was flipped around. I could hear the country kind of music when you used to see in those old movies where the cars would be whipped around, the dirt would be spinning up. I threw the car in the park, jumped out, cameras in hand, got up on my tiptoes to look at the ledge. And guess what it was? Not 1, but 2 sheep. So going over there, run across the road, scale up the side of this cliff, and there my friends were. And what a joy it was to see them in their natural habitat. They kind of looked up at me, saw that I was just another tourist with a camera wanting to take photos. They went right back to eating, probably wondering what the hell was so interesting about us. And I was ecstatic. I was ecstatic because I got to see these majestic animals that I'd always wanted to see in the wild. I was ecstatic because it was such a great reminder about the power of never giving up. The power of, if you want something enough, to keep trying, to keep working at it, to keep doing it over and over again, to learn, to adjust, until you can make it happen. What did I do throughout my story? I'd go to spots, I'd listen to recommendations, I'd ask for guidance. And then incorporate that, implement that. So my timing got more specific. The places I went got more specific to the information I was getting from others who had done it before. Until finally I was able to arrive at this really special place and see them. Now here's the thing. Some of you might say, well, Jesse, you were on your way out of town. Isn't that giving up? Not at all. I was on my way out of town because there was airplanes that had to be caught. And I can promise you this. If I hadn't seen them on the way out of town on this trip, the first thing I would have done when I go back was go looking for the sheep. And in the in-between time, I wouldn't have resolved and said, you know what, I'm meant to never see the sheep. I'll never see them. In the in-between time, I would have researched more. I would have spent more time. I would have gone on Instagram and seen when people were posting photos of the sheep. I would have researched and researched and researched, looked at the habits, looked at all these types of things. So when I went back, I was even more prepared to find the sheep and be where they were. My friends, if you have something that you want in life, are you taking these steps to achieve it? Or when you meet an obstacle, when it doesn't work out quite the way you want, do you just give up? Do you ask for feedback? Do you consult other experts? Do you look for people who have done it before and find out what they did? Do you enlist the help of others to help you? My friends, if your goal, whether your goal is to see the bighorn sheep in the Rocky Mountains, to start a new business, to create an amazing relationship, to overcome a fear, to release a trauma, to defeat anxiety and worry from your life, whether it's to make more money, to have a better health, whatever it is, I promise you that if you commit to achieving your goal, you will do it. The only way this doesn't happen is if you decide to give up. Now, the irony of this was, right after, and isn't this the story of success so often? I was driving on the freeway about 50 minutes or so after that. I'd crossed over into the other side of the mountains. There was 5 of them on the side of the road, licking the salt off the road. And I just started laughing and thinking, isn't that so funny? Because with any goal in life, that's how it always is, right? Is there's this resistance to the goal when we first start. Most of us give up. Most of us crumble under the pressure of the resistance at first. But if you can push through, and overcome, all of a sudden the resistance fades away and there's nothing to stop you because you have momentum. And then the same challenges you faced before, they fade away. Instead, what you got is the understanding that if you've done it before, you know now you can do it again. I hope this video has been of value to you. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please leave a comment below. And we'll be talking to you soon.